This is Drew Croft, and I'm going to go through Postmortem for the launch of Spellbacus, which kind of sounds epic, said out loud. Did you launch on time? I was a few minutes late with my uploading the file. It was about halfway through uploading when I realized it used full HD, and it was taking quite a while to get the video to be posted online, but it was pretty much on time. Is everything working? Everything that's up here is working as it should be. So once you log in, it gives you your different characters. You can create a new character very easily. Automatically creates the sheet. Going sheet to sheet, everything works. Everything loads up with the character. All the functions up here are working correctly, so I can delete this. So when I click on my new character, everything comes up the way it should. All of the different fields are filled out appropriately on each of the pages. The weights, quantities, everything here is all as it should be. All the spells are loaded in correctly. So yeah, everything's working. What did I learn? Learned a lot. I'd say the number one thing that I learned was to be careful when you register for a domain. I had no idea how severe of a difference it can be having a shared hosting versus virtual private. I started off with the shared hosting, and there was a module that my PHP was using on my computer that it wasn't loaded on the on the server. And when I posted my thing, the strange part was it was supposed to be loaded. The company even told me it should be there, and then when they found that it wasn't, they just told me, well, that's too bad. But it was a module that I needed to run this correctly. I could have, I guess, shortchanged myself and used old functions that are becoming deprecated, but I opted to, I guess, take the high road. So I instead just started my own virtual private server with DigitalOcean. I learned a lot about Angular. I learned with Angular that it's better to spend more time up front learning a framework than to try and muscle your way through it, so to speak. I've used Angular in the past, and I opted to muscle through it in the past, and with a much simpler project it took me almost as long to actually complete it. But now I actually spent some time and sat down and went through some tutorials and learned as much as I could about Angular, and it made a lot of it easier. I mean, there was still definitely some troubleshooting along the way, but not as bad as in the past. I learned better coding practices a little bit. I still need to be better about splitting up my functions into different files. I think my main JavaScript file is over 1,000 lines of code. And I learned a bit more about Git. I've always had issues setting up Git on a server, but I was able to get that going a lot quicker than I had in the past, and learned a lot about actually how Git works more. And again, this was more to do with me spending more time up front learning the ins and outs before just trying to muscle through and get done what I need done now. What I would have done differently is probably pitch the idea with less features. I am really good with web projects at estimating that they're going to take half as long as they really take. I ended up spending like 16 plus hours a day the last week or two trying to get everything working correctly. And I would have built my server originally on a virtual private server right from the get-go. Those are the two things I would have definitely done differently. That's it. That's all I got for Spellbacus. Thank you very much.